Now, I'm seeing videos from various snipers from various different parts of the military, and they all don't agree on what took place. Now, the one guy we saw, he did his breakdown. We clearly see an outline of a plate, right? His theory was he got hit at the top of the plate and then deflected straight up into his neck. Now I got another sniper saying, no, that was a direct shot. Okay, so you think it's weird now. Let's see how much weirder it gets. Once again, I'm going to take my time tonight. I'm not going to rush through anything. It may be not in order, but I will cover everything that I plan on covering with y'all tonight. I will leave no stone unturned. Where in the hell is this? Is this it? Nope, that's not it. Hold up. Hold up. Where the hell is the damn link? What's his name? What is his motherfucking name? Damn it. Come on, refresh. Okay. Okay. There we go. It went through. All right. Here we go. Now, this guy, I believe, is a former, do I want to say he's a SEAL or Delta? Let me do this real quick. Let me look up Mike Glover. Okay. Let's look up Mike Glover just for context, because I don't want anybody feeling like, Sly, you missed a part, or I don't understand. No. You're gonna understand tonight. Mike Glover. Let's see what his accolades are. Okay. Mike Glover is former Delta Force. It gets no better than that, except British SAS. Okay. Mike Glover is a former Delta operator. All right. He's a former Delta operator. This means this man he can kill you 10 different ways and sit down and drink a beer over your body and not lose any sleep. Okay, this man's certified. He's official like toilet tissue. This man will fuck you up in a gunfight. Okay. All right. This man will mess you up very, very badly. Do not break into this man's house. You will not make it out. In fact, he probably leaves the door unlocked just to lure people in so he can, practice. All right. There was a story of a former Green Beret guy that would purposely leave stuff unlocked and bait criminals to come in so he could practice killing people. Okay. But anywho, this is Mike Glover speaking. Now, if anybody breaks this thing down, and if it's anybody's word I'm going to take to the bank, it's Mike Glover. This man's former Delta. It gets no better. Okay? Let's go.
All right, guys, I want to make this real quick because, to the point, something isn't right. I went to a vigil last night and spoke down in Provo about Charlie Kirk and all the things that he's contributed to our society. And
wait, Mr. Super Chat, hold up. Bishop J. Jermaine, my man, thank you for the 5. The whole situation that the media is giving about Charlie Kirk's death is capped. This was an RFK assassination because he started to question his handlers. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. He didn't like the assignment he was given. He didn't like that Israel assignment. But we're going to cover that too. All right, let's go.
How if we want to continue his legacy, his mission, well, technically we are all Charlie Kirk. We could speak the truth. And I think he did that. While he spoke the truth, and I look at what's happening right now in this investigation, things aren't adding up, and it feels like false flags. It feels like a lie.
You know who should be angrier than anybody? You know who should be the most pissed off group of people in America? Former military guys. the most angriest, pissed off, deceived, lied to people in America are former military guys. They should be the angriest of them all, because they've been sent into situations because of whoever from the State Department for their reasons, and they just had to follow orders, and God knows what all they had to do to get those orders completed, fulfilled, right? And then years later, after they come home, PTSD issues, marriages are wrecked, kids hate their guts, and then they start to kind of, go down this rabbit hole, redacted files, and they got friends in high places say, hey, that mission, it was a setup. There really wasn't it was a favor for a favor, right? Former military guys should be the most angry of everybody, more than citizens. You're a citizen. You're supposed to be stupid, okay? But these guys were flat out lied to, okay, and placed in positions in compromising situations where it was, it would cost them or someone else's their life. So nobody should be more angrier than former vets. I'm talking former combat operators. But let's continue.
Things aren't adding up. When I saw the rifle, my spidey senses started pinging.
Okay.
Apparently, the rifle is a 30-06 hunting rifle. It's a long action. 30-06 is a 30 cal. It's basically a 308, the old version of the 308. The modern 7.62x51 NATO version that came around in the 1950s was able to be fired in a short and long action. The rifle I saw appeared to be a long action Mauser variant, 30-06, and they're not interchangeable. 30 cal-06, I believe that's the origin. 1906 is when it was brought around. The 30-06 has more muzzle velocity in feet per second and more foot-pounds of energy. When I saw that rifle, one thing stood out to me is it was together. And another element that stood out to me is when he came off the rooftop in the video I saw, he didn't appear to have a rifle. He appeared to have a bag.
Okay, and we all saw that video. So we're all on the same page. Come on, let's go.
And I guess apparently, he broke it down, came off the roof, put it back together, and then chucked it in the woods with his palm print on it. Now, I speculated this guy wasn't likely a professional, didn't have a sniper background, but he had some form of training.
Okay, and that's what my initial thought was. This guy was not a pro, part of a clandestine group, or I said he grew up hunting. I said, some of the best shots are the white boys that grew up hunting. Their daddies took them hunting. Their first rifle was a 22, so those guys can shoot. All right, for a non-military type of person, right? Okay, let's continue.
Some form of experience. I still believe he did. But at 22 years old, 4.0 GPA, 26 out of 28 ACT, full ride scholarship, how does he get radicalized to the point where he conducts one of the most successful assassinations in American history?
I don't know about American history, but okay. I'm still rocking with you, Mike, but I don't know about in American history. But okay, come on.
A lot of people try. The guy in Mar-a-Lago who got set up, compromised. The guy in Butler, PA, scales a 10 building, gets off a couple rounds, gets schwacked. But this kid infiltrates, has successful actions on, exfils off the rooftop, and then he decides to put the gun together and chuck it in the woods?
Okay, come on.
I am a former 18 Bravo. I have field stripped every single weapon system known to man, foreign and domestic. It was part of my job as a weapons specialist, SF guy, which I loved. I had already...
No, sir, you're former Delta Force. Don't, I hate when they... I'm just regular. I was just FS. No, sir, say that shit. Sir, you're one of the most lethal men on the planet. Okay? The attrition rate for a Delta Force you think is bad for the SEALs, right? So for Delta, for, brief context, they invite everybody, or they select Rangers, Green Berets, SEALs, MARSOC, Marine Raiders, and less than 10% of these badasses make it to Delta Force. That's how elite the Delta Force is. Okay, so I hate when they be like, yeah, I'm just regular SF. No, the fuck you were not regular, sir. There's something regular about you. Okay? This man probably leaves his door unlocked looking for y'all to come through so he can target practice on you because he's bored. Okay? Let's continue.
Studied all the nomenclature as a young man. All the Jane's manuals I have.
Okay, here is where my pushback to you is. A lot of these guys signed up during 9/11. 9/11 enlistments went through the roof because they all legit thought a bunch of cave dwellers hijacked planes and crashed them into the towers. Okay? It's not till they get 10 years in, after so many deployments, then they kind of start to see, wait a minute, this ain't right. They don't openly question orders, but they know what they're doing. It's like, oh, this is some bullshit. And then once they discharge and, you know, they become contractors somewhere else, and then their friends that are still in it, and everyone's talking and sharing notes, then it's like, man, they really lied to us. They really lied to us. So a lot of these guys, it's not till they're able to get out and then decompress and process everything they've done for God, country, right? And you hear that's why these guys are being told the state to shut up now, right? The mandate came from the top. This is why everyone's pulling their videos. All their interviews are being pulled. They're being told to shut up because all these guys came to YouTube telling all their war stories, and now they're all just about being told to shut up. Okay, let's continue.
I picked up every copy of Guns and Ammo I could. You would have to clear the rifle, drop a foreplate. Oh, actually, remove the bolt first. Drop a foreplate. Take off a barrel band, handguard, and disconnect the barrel from the stock. And even when you did that, you would have about that much stock or that much difference in the breakdown. So full-size rifle, the barrel kind of meets the buttstock here. Well, when you do that, you're just saving this much space. So you want me to believe he took a shot, broke down the rifle, came off the roof, reassembled it, and then chucked it in the woods in a towel? No.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I saw the video. After the shot was taken, he was running and exfilming. So if he ran and he came off that rooftop, when he came off that rooftop, it appeared that he only had a black bag. What makes sense is the black bag was utilized as a shooting stock, a platform, a position. Because if he's flat on his belly, because he didn't have a bipod, no way to gain elevation, he would have to use the bag to gain elevation, to take up a position, because it was from a slightly elevated angle. Oh, and the guy's saying it was an angled shot and there would have been a deviation. There is literally nominal, meaning it's not even worth talking.
Okay, now remember, just a couple of days ago, we had another sniper talk about angle. It was an angle shot. I've done these types of shots. He was a Marine sniper. Okay. Now, once again, whose word am I taking? Am I taking the word of a Marine, or I'm taking the word of a Delta? Okay. Now, everybody has the right to make their own assessments, but I'm gonna go with the Delta guy. But come on, let's go. I'm going with the Delta guy. And listen, if the Delta guy tells me the sky is purple, guess what? The sky is purple. Okay. If a stone cold killer tells me, hey man, the sky is red, don't you see that? I'm like, yeah, you're right. It sure is red. It's what shade of red do you see? Is it magenta? No, it's crimson. Oh, okay, crimson. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Delta guy.
Talking about or considering deviation in those type of angles. I've been to high.
Okay. Free Zone says, when I joined the military, I knew what the government was about when I chose to enlist. These folks know they signed up for service and receive all the benefits. I have nothing to say because I've never joined the military. That's one of my few regrets in life. I wish I had a chance to do so. All I can say is you had a bunch of young men that really believed in enlisting for their country to do the right thing once those towers fell. That was the ultimate programming. You know what I'm saying? And I respect your position. I'm not pushing back on what you just said. I'm just saying a lot of those guys that are now my age or close to my age, as soon as those towers fell, they scrapped all their plans for football, baseball, college. They said, nope, I'm going to the military. Our country's under attack. And a lot of those kids went in with that mindset. A lot of them We'll never know the numbers. You can't quantify that. I'm just saying the overall sentiment. Those enlistment numbers were, because I would say majority, because those kids felt a need to serve the country because they legit felt that they were under attack. How could you not? Right? And yeah, they come to the light 20 years after the fact. They eventually come to the light and be like, our government's a piece of shit, but it's better this government than anybody else. So I'm not disagreeing with what you said. You know, most urban folk, we get with we know what time it is. These white boys don't know this shit. Free zone. They grew up hunting turkey vultures and, you know, the wild feral hogs and shit. You know, their daddy took them hunting when they was kids. They would field strip the deer and hang it in a smokehouse for jerky meat. They don't know the fucking government's not their friend. They're not. You know what I'm saying? They daddy ain't like, you know, the government, they took out JFK. Why are you trying to go to the middle? Them kids didn't know. Is that fair to say? Yeah, Pat Tillman felt the need to forego his entire NFL career to go serve his country because he too felt that this country was under attack. And then what happened when he found out what they were doing with the opium? He said, I can't rock with this. And all of a sudden, this man dies from friendly fire. Even Pat Tillman fell for the okie doke, drank the Kool-Aid. So I think, Free Zone, I don't think you are really given enough credence to the fact that you had a lot of young, impressionable minds that were instantly, overnight, when those towers fell, and all they cared about was God and country. What can I do to serve my country? And that was not, you weren't going to talk them off that ledge. That was it. That was all. As a matter of fact, they weren't going to be no mechanics. This is what I'm getting a little deep. Them white boys that enlisted, they wanted to go fight. Okay? They wanted some guns and a direction. Okay? Those are the kids that joined, that went to selection. Those are the kids like, I want to be a ranger. I want to be a Green Beret. I want to be a MARSOC ranger. You know what I'm saying? A Marine Raider. I want to be a Delta Force. Oh, there's a Delta Force. I want to do that too. So those white boys weren't trying to go be the cook, mechanic, count toilet paper. They trying to get the fucking action in. They wanted some get back. I'm just saying. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Those white boys wanted to fight. Niggas be like, hey man, listen. What MOS can I do to not have to go to? Oh, they need a they need a what? You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas ain't trying to be on special forces. Y'all, hey, remember y'all was making fun of Fantastic for not joining the Navy SEALs. Wait. Let me pull this back. This ain't about Fantastic. But remember, y'all used to roast him. Yo, nigga, you been in the Navy 20 years. How come you ain't try for the Navy SEALs? Remember that? I remember those jabs. I remember cats used to clown his service record because he didn't try out for combat applications. What you mean you been in the Navy for 20 years and you ain't no Navy SEAL? Why not? I remember that. This was years ago, but okay, let's get back to this. Matter of fact, let me get these super chats real quick. Free Zone, hey, Free Zone, I respect your position, bro. I ain't got no pushback for you like that. I'm just saying these white boys that saw them towers fell, they wanted the M4, they wanted the HK M1 M6 in their hands and said, where do I go? Who I got to kill? That was it. That was all. J. Jermaine, thank you again for the 5 in the chat. The so-called shooter they have in custody is also Cap. This was a close hit by a person who was close to Kirk, just like JFK. Also, one more time, J. Jermaine with the 5. Kirk started to question Benjamin Netz and Trump because he started questioning why Trump was taking orders from him on October 7th. Yeah. I'm with you. Hey, much respect, bro. Much respect. He said, I knew someone that drank the Kool-Aid, and I think that was a minority. A lot of those white boys knew and didn't care. All they cared about was putting that work in the emotional response. I agree. Yeah, Pat questioned the mission. Why are we doing all this with this opium? Why are we over here? Oh, okay. And friendly fire. Happens all the time. You know. Okay, let's go. Let's get back to this. It's almost done.
High angle shooting sniper course. High angle is a building shooting down onto a parking lot or onto a suspect. That is an angle. This is a slope, and it's no different. What likely happened is he was masked by the pop-up tent from his position, or he didn't remember his hold, so he held the reticle at a 0 point of aim, expecting a point of impact, and at 200 yards, if his 0 is at 100, at 200 yards, he would have had a 4-inch drop and dropped it into the neck. And for all these guys with a ballistic steel plate, like this one guy did a video where like shoots a steel plate. Guy, we don't use steel plates. Charlie Kirk was not wearing a steel plate. Also, you have to remember a steel plate, even if it's worn, is underneath the clothing. The spall of the round as it disintegrates, potentially on steel, would be captured by that, and you would see it. He didn't have a plate on. There's one person who said, oh, he's got a black mark above his chest. What is that? It's a microphone. If you would have just rewound the video or looked at the pictures, where you could see a microphone and also his nipples, which is indicative of him not having armor on.
Okay, now, God damn it, Mike said he was never wearing armor. Mike says he was not wearing. Okay, let me run that back one more time.
It's indicative of him not having armor on.
Okay, Mike says. Now, once again, this is the Delta guy. I ain't gonna listen. If the Delta guy tells me gruel is good for you, okay, gruel is good for me. All right. If it says eat the beef stroganoff, then I'm gonna eat the beef stroganoff. But come on, let's go take a look. Now, they never confirmed that he was wearing a vest or a plate. And I said when the shot first took place, you saw his shirt do this, right? You saw his shirt do this. And then when you freeze frame it, you see a rectangular pattern underneath the shirt. Oh. Okay, so they never confirmed he was wearing a... Okay, was Charlie Kirk wearing... Once again, everybody, I'm going to take my time tonight. I'm going to walk everything down. I will not leave no stone unturned. So once here, if you notice looking at Charlie Kirk's shirt, it appears to be resting on something underneath that resembles a bulletproof vest. Right? Once again, the video is being scrubbed, but the part you're missing is that the bullet initially hit the vest, then deflected up into the neck. If you review the video frame by frame, you can see the shot pierce the shirt and the underlying body armor jumping up in response. The bullet then deflects off the armor into Charlie's neck, blah, blah, blah. Now that's a microphone lapel clip to his shirt, not a hole. I don't think vest. Check out high-res photos better than video. There's no way a plate fits fits well under the t-shirt. The D is freedom is missing, meaning the shirt sinks between pecs, and then everything, and then under the pec to the stomach contour plate would be very evident. Okay, so what we're gonna do, without getting pinged, and now once again, this is his video here. This is, I want to go back to this guy. Okay, he says this is what he was wearing.
Ballistic protection, some Kevlar that actually protects me from.
Now listen, I'm not going to disrespect this man and say he don't know what he's talking about. He's wrong. 9.9 times out of 10, I'm going to go with the Delta guy. Okay, but here, once again, make of this information what you will. What is that? Because upon impact, the shirt literally flutters.
Possible. So right here, we have the first frame in this particular video, and I don't know what frame rate this video was shot in.
Okay, Techie says he wasn't wearing a vest. So y'all say it was a direct shot to the neck. But then what caused the shirt to flutter? That's all I want to know. All my military guys, what caused the shirt to do this before it, right before it hits him in the neck? That's all I'm asking. What caused the shirt to flutter? That's all I'm asking.
It was slowed down. This is the first sign of impact. I want you to notice with this shirt,
now this is the microphone up here. Okay, that's the microphone above the letter R. Okay, let's continue.
We have the shirt. It is violently disturbed, but this shirt collar is moved all the way up to his ear. When I first saw this video, what it looked like to me is that Charlie Kirk.
Okay, I see what Mike is saying. So when you go here, these are supposed to be his nipples. So Mike is saying because I see his nipples, that means he wasn't wearing a vest. Okay, if that's true, then why is the concussion blast given a rather specific shape of a vest being worn? All I'm asking is just explain why the shirt did this in the beginning, and I'll shut up. Okay? If you can explain that to me, I'm willing to listen. I'm here to learn. I'm here to get educated, just like everybody else, okay?
But this shirt collar is moved all the way up to his ear. When I first saw this video, what it looked like to me is that Charlie Kirk was shot in the left side, and it looked like a direct hit into the left side of his neck, and I was also looking for an exit wound. But that doesn't explain why the shirt was moved the way that it was. As we move forward a little bit, I want you to see, folks, right here. I want you to notice that there is a spot on the shirt.
So is that the microphone he's saying?
Also correlates with the very top edge of this body armor.
Okay, Mike is saying that is the microphone. Let's run this back a bit. Like I said, see, once again, you see this shape here? That's a very specific shape. That is, what is that? Not even a half moon, but it's like a, I don't know what that shape would be called. But that's a very specific, you can trace this shape. Okay? You can trace this shape. All right?
As we move forward a little bit, I want you to see, folks, right here. I want you to notice that there is a spot on the shirt. And that spot on the shirt also correlates with the very top edge of this body armor.
Okay, Mike's Crescent, thank you. Crescent, okay, got you. Mike says that's a microphone. Homeboy saying that's a vest.
Now, you can also see the first appearance of an entrance wound, and that's really weird too. So when we see an entrance wound from a firearm, especially on the skin and
Okay. I'm not discounting what this man is saying. Hell, he got more guns than me. So let me go back to Mike. Once again, Mike is former Delta. I don't know what Paramount Tactical's background is. I'm going to assume he's former military. He has to be. I'm just going off the way he's built, the tattoos, the watch, the beard. This is definitely former military vibe. I don't know which service he was in, which branch. Okay, now Mike says microphone, no vest. I can see the nipples, the shirt, whatever the case may be. Okay, come on.
Soft or a steel plate. Now, even if he had a ballistic plate, a Kevlar plate, Kevlar acts like a catcher's mitt for a round. It absorbs the energy. So even if the round hit him on the plate, it would not ricochet. It would potentially spall and fragment, worst case. With the muzzle velocity of that round, it would create a lot of energy and force that probably would knock him out of his chair with a plate, but it didn't. Because that wound that you saw wasn't a ricochet, wasn't an exit wound. It was a penetration lined up with the angle of where the shooter was, of the round entering his neck, penetrating his spinal cord, and him dying nearly instantly. Now, you saw him clinch and bleed. He was gone, guys. And I hate to be that graphic, but I want you to understand that, like, he didn't suffer at all.
Hey, if anybody's going to tell you how to, what happens to you when you get shot, it's this man here. If it's anybody's going to tell you how he got popped and the after effects, hey, Techie no. Techie was out in the desert shooting guns. Hey, my only question is what caused the shirt to flutter? That's all I want to know at this point. I'm over it if he's doing a vest or not, because my thing is this: if he was wearing a vest, that company would tank overnight. If he really was wearing a vest and it deflected a round into this man's neck. That company would be bankrupt literally overnight. Literally overnight, because that's a defective product. Okay, let's continue.
So once we set those aside, I'm like, okay, I understand, let's move forward. And then I'm like, why is the FBI bragging about rolling this guy up when the family surrendered him? The dad was a construction worker, worked for a construction company. He wasn't a 27-year law enforcement. That was the family friend.
Okay.
So there were engravings on the bullets that were Antifa rhetoric. And you're telling me he operated in a silo.
Here we go.
Communicating to no one. No help, no motivations. And they'll write this off. We'll write it completely off. They'll be like, hey, next topic, next subject matter. It's a dead end topic because we got the guy. He's in jail. Do we? Do we got all the guys? I don't know if we do. It doesn't make sense to me that he would disassemble it and then reassemble it. I'm not convinced. Something's off. And as more information comes out, I hope I can put it together for you, but I just wanted to put this video out because it's got me thinking. It's got me thinking. What do you guys think? Later, guys.
This is Mike Glover, former Delta operator. It gets no better than this.